أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing good and that you guys found the review videos that I posted yesterday useful in not only revising the old concepts that we had studied the previous week but also in tying them in with the lessons that we are going to have this week, inshallah, such as why we are studying these things, what's the rationale behind starting off with an ism, and why are we doing the ism marfa, and why do we need to know what are the 7 ways of converting an ism into marfa form. So all these things, a person demands some kind of explanation as to what's the rationale behind learning these things. So these were the questions that I tried to answer in those review videos, and for those who weren't able to watch those review videos, I would encourage you to go and watch them because they have answered some of these questions at great length. And from today, inshallah, we are going to start off with the next topic, which is determining the gender of an ism. We already did why it is necessary, and it is because an ism tells us 4 things about itself. One of the properties is, or one of the characteristics, or one of the things that it tells us about itself is its gender. Okay, so among others, among the 3 other characteristics, it tells us what it is, whether it should be dealt as masculine or feminine. Now, the second one was Arab, all right, so its role, and the third one was its status, whether it's marfa or nakra, and we have covered these two in the previous week's lessons. Now we are left with this and another one. Okay, so we are going to cover this fourth property in this week, inshallah, and we have started off with gender. So before we begin, let's ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us out and to ease these concepts for learning as well as teaching. So Rabbi Yasir, wala tu'asir, wa tammim bil khair. Alright, so let's begin our background. In English, we have uh, a separate identity for the inanimate objects. Alright, so what I mean by this is we have masculine forms such as he, his, him. Alright, then we have the feminine ones, so she, her, hers. Alright, however, we also have it for the inanimate objects. So all the non-living objects are referred to with this word, it. Alright, this pronoun. So what's different in Arabic? In Arabic, we have masculine, we have feminine genders, but that's it. There is no separate identity for the inanimate objects. Alright, so an inanimate object is either going to be masculine or it's going to be feminine. And how do we know which one it is? There is a way for that. Okay, and that's what we're going to study in this lesson, inshallah. So uh, that's the main rationale behind knowing these two genders, and about the content of this lesson. Okay, because in Arabic all things may either be masculine or feminine. No other identity is over there in Arabic. Okay, now before we begin, I like to give the overviews of the lesson. So over here now, this little chart over here may not make a lot of sense to you right now, but by the end of this lesson, inshallah, this is going to be a beautiful summary of the entire lesson. What do we see here? We see that an ism can be mu'annas or the feminine uh, gender in 4 ways. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, how so? First of all, it could be an actual female or feminine. Okay, so for example, it's a human female or an animal female, jinn female, for example. All right, so an actual female is obviously going to be muannas. Next, we see this flag over here of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, this thing only represents our rule of the Arab language, so their rules, okay, their language, their rules, because there are many things and many exceptions to the grammar rules where it's the Arab linguists who have decided on something which is out of the ordinary and then doesn't directly or even indirectly follow the grammar rules. Okay, so their language, their rules, and by they I mean the Arab linguists. Well, I know there are many Arab countries over there, but well, being Muslims, we know that it's about Makkah and Medina, and that's in Saudi Arabia. So I just decided to put the Saudi flag over here. All right. So their rules, their language, their rules. Okay, so what this is, we are going to study it. Then next, we see synonyms of these four things. Okay, what these are, we're going to cover in detail. And finally, we see another flag over here. Uh, this again, we are going to cover in detail. So technically, this overview just tells us that there are four ways of determining. There are four situations that can render an ism feminine. All right, and what those are, that's what we are going to cover in this lesson. So let's begin. Now, first thing that we need to remember is that every ism is masculine until proven otherwise. Okay, every ism is masculine, no matter what it is. If you see an ism, and you run it through you run it through the feminine test, then and it comes out to be feminine, then that is it. Okay, otherwise every ism is masculine until proven otherwise. It's kind of similar to what we learned previously in the Marfa lesson, that every ism is nakra unless it can be proven to be marfa, and for that we had 7 rules or 7 situations that can render an ism marfa. So it's similar to that. So there are 4 situations that can render an ism to be feminine, and every ism is masculine until proven otherwise. All right, so this was our first pointer. What's the other one? The other pointer is that for an ism to be feminine, one of the following conditions needs to be present. And what are those following conditions? It's these 4 conditions that I have summarized over here. Okay, so let's look at the first condition, that it should be obviously an actual female. So human female or human feminine, such as bintun. Bintun means a girl, all right, or a daughter. Similarly, it could be an animal feminine, for example, baqaratun, a cow. All right, so this is pretty much straightforward. And how can we determine this? By the dictionary meanings, obviously. Okay, so we have covered the first point. The next point is it should have one of the following feminine flags. What do I mean by this? It could either have the suffix of round ta or a ta marbuta, such as in this word jannatan or jannatun, it doesn't really matter. So jannatun or jannatan, we have this round ta or ta marbuta at the end. So this means that this ism is a feminine ism. Okay, so jannatun is feminine. Now, this was the first flag. What's the other flag? It's this thing. All right, so we have alif hamza combo. Once again, it's called alif mamduda. All right, this entire combo is called alif mamduda. And for example, sahra'u, all right, desert. So if I have this, all right, it is considered to be a feminine flag. So if you see this combo at the end, the chances are that it's going to be feminine. All right, the third flag is this thing here. We are familiar with this, all right, and it is called alif maksura. All right, and an example is husna. So what do I see with this? I see this thing. I see this long alif, all right, we call it kari zabar, And along with this we have this ya. So husna, for example. So these are the three flags that show that an ism is feminine. All right. Now the third situation. Synonym of one of the following words. First of all, it could be, now there are four, one, two, three, and then four, yeah. So if a word has a meaning similar to that of fire, so it's a synonym of fire, or wine, or air, or is any paired body organ. Okay, so for example, we have foot, we have eyes, we have hands. All of these are paired. Lungs, all right. So all these kind of things. So they are your paired body organs. Therefore, they're going to be treated as feminine. Okay, this is what it means. And our final category is the Arab discretion. If Arabs have said that it is feminine, okay, we bow our heads to that. So sun is shamsun, and it is feminine because the Arabs have said so. Okay. Similarly, goblet or a glass is kasun, and that becomes feminine because Arabs said so. Similarly, self is nafsun, so it becomes feminine because the Arab linguists have decided that. Okay. Now, a common question that I come across is how to increase the vocabulary. The answer is simple. The more you read, the more you come across the new words, and that increases your vocabulary. So when you're reciting, obviously our Arabic vocabulary isn't too good, okay? So I would recommend that you listen to the tafasir because they give you explanations. And I'm going to upload the file of Arabic dictionary that I find really useful. So it's an English to Arabic dictionary. So you can, start consulting that for any word that you find. So that would be a good start, inshallah. Okay, and our lesson has finished. So in a nutshell, if you are not a pictures person, okay, if you like text, then let's just go through it again quickly. So in a nutshell, every ism is masculine until proven otherwise. And secondly, an ism is feminine if it is either an actual female or it has one of the three feminine flags that include the ta marbuta or the alif mamduda or alif maksura. All right. Next, it should be a synonym or it has a meaning of wine, air, fire, and the paired organs, and or, all right, so, or the paired body organs. Okay. And the final point is that it should be, or it has been designated as feminine by Arabs. Okay, so I hope these 4 points are clear, inshallah. And well, let's just look at this table once again. So 4 criteria for an ism to be feminine. Number 1, it should be an actual female, either human, animal origin. It should be having one of the three feminine flags. So we have the round ta, alif mamduda, alif maksura. All right. It could be a synonym for fire, wine, air, or the paired body organs, or it could be feminine because the Arab linguists have said so. Okay, this is our summary. Now, just to make this concept clear and to get your head start on this, I decided on doing some examples. So first of all, what we are going to do is we're going to study each of these examples, and we are going to run each of these words through the 4 categories, or through the 4 criteria that can make an ism feminine, and then we are going to decide if it should be dealt as feminine or masculine. So ukhtun means a sister. Now, a sister, does it look like it's feminine? Yes, it is, because a sister is an actual female, an actual feminine. Okay, so we have feminine. Next, we have the word majlisun. It means a gathering. All right, so through its dictionary meanings, we know that it is not an actual feminine. So we go to the next point. What's the next point? It should have one of the three feminine flags. Does it have it? Nope. It doesn't have any uh, round ta. It doesn't have any alif mamduda or alif maksura. So that point has been taken off the list. Then the next point is that does it mean anything that is similar to fire, wine, or paired body organs, or your air? No, it doesn't. All right, so that has been ruled out as well. And the fourth criteria was that has it been designated as feminine by the Arabs? Well, I'm telling you it's not. All right, so there we go. It's masculine. All right, so with all the asma that you come across, that's how your thought process should work. Okay, if it is, and we're going to practice it extensively, inshallah, this weekend when we are done with all the four characteristics of an ism. That's what we are going to practice so that it becomes a second nature when we are reading or reciting, and we don't have to spend so much time on it. All right, so our next ism is ghurfatun. Its meaning is a room. Now, the first category, it has been ruled out. It's not an actual female. The second category, does it have one of the three flags? Yes, it does. It has the golta or the taima marbuta. Therefore, well, we know it's a feminine thing. Okay, so it's a feminine ism, ghurfatan. Now, samumun. What does it mean? It means hot air. All right. So it's not an actual female or an actual feminine. Then it doesn't have any of the three flags for feminine. And however, it does mean air. All right. So it does have air in it. Therefore, we can say that it is a feminine ism. Okay. All right. Next is dubbatun. It's a female beer. That's what it means. So, is it an actual feminine? Yes, it is. Ta-da. All right. Then next we have qadamun, a foot. Is it an actual feminine? No, it's not. All right. Does it have any of the three flags? Nope, it doesn't. All right. So, is it the synonym of um, anything, any of those words, those four words that we studied? Yes, it is. Why? Because it is uh, the paired body organ. All right, so we have foot. Next, we have, so therefore it's feminine. Now, sorau, it means minor or little. All right, so is it an actual feminine? No, it's not. Number two, is it having any of the three flags? Yes, it is. It's having this thing, alif mamduda. Therefore, it's feminine. Next, baitun. It means a house. So is it an actual feminine? No, it's not. All right. Next is that does it have any of the three feminine flags? Well, it does not. Next is it having any of is it the synonym of those four words? No, it's not. And finally, have the Arabs said that it is feminine? I'm telling you they haven't. So we have it's masculine. Oh, hang on a second. I made the wrong symbol. Alright, so it's ghurfatun. It's having this golta over here, so it's feminine, okay? Alright, so what do we do? Yeah, we have husna in the end, and well, we did this. So it means best. Alright, and well, does it have the meaning of being an actual feminine? It does not. And then the second group is that does it have any of the three flags of being feminine? Yes, it does. It is ending with alif maksura, so it is feminine. Okay, so these were some of the examples that I wanted to discuss, just as an exercise and to know that how you have to deal with these four things, with these four criteria. Okay, so that has ended our lesson with the examples and the theory. So inshallah we are going to meet again in the next lesson, in which we are going to discuss how we can convert a masculine ism into feminine ism. Okay, so that's the lesson for next time, inshallah. That will be lesson 7b, And until that time, I would want you to memorize this thing, okay? Because this thing is going to come in handy a lot. Similarly, if you haven't already, try and remember and memorize uh, the 7 criteria for Marfa, all right, and the 8 rules for ISM. So for using al, okay, so that's going to be really useful. So till that time, barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quran al Hakim, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Allah Hafiz.